Dead Sea shoreline does not collapse with a roar. It collapses in sunlight, in silence, often with almost no warning at all. Along the shores of the Dead Sea, the ground can look dry, bright, and completely solid, and then suddenly open into a hole deep enough to swallow roads, palm groves, parking lots, beaches, and entire pieces of coastline. The reason is hidden below the surface. The sea has been dropping fast for decades, more than 45 meters over the past 50 years, recently around 1.2 meters per year. And as the water retreats, freshwater moves underground and dissolves buried salt, leaving cavities that can collapse without warning. And this is not just some natural vanishing act. A huge part of the Dead Sea's decline is human-made. Water that once fed it through the Jordan River has been diverted for farming and domestic use, while large mineral extraction evaporation ponds have expanded across the southern basin. In other words, this shoreline is not only collapsing because of geology, it is collapsing because people have been draining the system that once kept it alive. That is what makes this place feel so wrong. The Dead Sea already looks ancient and unreal before anything gives way. White salt, blue water, harsh desert light, bare hills that feel older than memory. It looks like a landscape shaped too slowly to ever surprise anyone. But beneath that stillness, the shore has become temporary. The surface can hold long enough to look trustworthy. Then it doesn't. One hidden roof over one dissolved cavity gives way, and flat ground becomes a raw wound in the earth. The human irony makes it even darker. People come to the Dead Sea for healing, for mineral mud, for the strange pleasure of floating in one of the most famous bodies of water on Earth. For decades, places like Gedi drew holidaymakers to spa pools, briny beaches, and wellness tourism. Now parts of that same coastline are fenced off, abandoned, or dangerous to enter because sinkholes keep opening where people once came to rest. That abandoned resort imagery is one of the strongest parts of the story. Near Gedi, tourist areas had to be deserted as sinkholes multiplied. Mineral Beach was shut after a huge sinkhole opened in its parking lot. Sections of road near the shore have buckled and failed. What used to be a leisure landscape now looks like a place hit by some invisible bombardment. And that is exactly what makes the Dead Sea sinkholes so cinematic. This is not empty wilderness collapsing. It is a famous human landscape being hollowed out underneath itself. There is also a brutally intimate human angle here. This is not only a danger to maps, roads, and resorts. People have fallen into these sinkholes. In one incident, an Israeli hiker entered an area without warning signs and was critically injured after falling into a newly opened hole. That one moment captures the real fear of the Dead Sea better than any aerial photo can. Someone walking through a bright, ordinary landscape, and then suddenly the ground is gone. Visually, the place is almost too beautiful for the threat it hides. The water glows blue against white salt and pale desert. Then the holes appear, sudden voids in the middle of all that brightness, some filled with turquoise water, others ringed with fresh collapse, others clustered so tightly that the shore starts to look diseased. The coastline does not feel broken by one disaster. It feels like it is rotting from below, and the future makes it worse. The sinkholes are not just a weird side effect of the present shoreline. They are part of a larger death spiral. If the current decline continues, the Dead Sea could become dramatically smaller within this century. So this is not just a story about holes opening today. It is a story about a lake dying slowly. And while it dies, it keeps eating the land around it. That is what gives this place its final layer of dread. The disaster is not over. The shoreline is still being rewritten. So when you hear the phrase Dead Sea sinkholes, do not picture a few strange pits in the desert. Picture a world-famous shoreline becoming hollow because the water is retreating, the salt below is dissolving, and the ground people trusted is losing its structure from the inside. Picture abandoned spas, broken roads, damaged palm groves, and a place once associated with healing turning into a landscape of sudden collapse. Because this is one of those rare disasters where the scariest thing is not what rushes toward you. It is what quietly stops being there beneath you. And if the Dead Sea is terrifying because the ground disappears without warning, Wakari/White Island is terrifying because the danger is visible in plain sight and still gives people almost no time to escape. Tourists could see the steam, the crater, the volcanic scars. And then, in broad daylight, the island erupted while they were still standing inside it. In the next video, we go there, to a place where the earth did not quietly give way below your feet. It exploded around you,